Hello, everybody. Sarah Eggleston with John L. Scott here. Welcome back to This Week in Housing. So I've been doing these Friday updates at 3 p.m. for a few months now, and recently decided that I'm having such a great time doing it that I'm going to continue. Originally, it was supposed to just be during Washington's stay-at-home order, but I'm going to continue presenting these shows on Friday at 3. So if you have questions, things that you want me to cover, make sure to shoot me a message, DM me, call me, whatever. I'm really curious to hear your feedback. So if there's something you feel like my show could use, let me know, and I would be happy to add that, whatever information it is, for you. So just let me know what you think would be valuable, and I'm happy to fill in. So we'll go ahead and just get jumped on into this week. Okay. So this week in housing, excuse me. So last week, on Friday, my last show, it was the first day of mandatory face mask wearing in indoor and outdoor public areas. So before, if you were in an outdoor space and able to maintain social distancing, it wasn't required, but now if you're in a public space, it is required. Children under 2 are exempt, as are people who have medical conditions that would be affected by this. And you can take it off to eat and drink and communicate with people who are hard of hearing. But this week, just yesterday, Governor Inslee announced that businesses should turn away customers without facial coverings. So it can just be a cloth or bandana tied around, whatever. But you need to have your facial covering on in order to get served by businesses in Washington. I know there's been a lot of dispute about whether this is good or bad, and I'm not going to get into that, but the rule is that if you are out in public, and you should be wearing a mask, and now businesses should turn you away if you choose to not wear one, according to the new rules. This is kind of sad because it means that our numbers are kind of backtracking. We were making some progress for a little while there on our coronavirus numbers, but we have kind of backtracked. So Inslee put a 2-week pause on any county advancing to a broader phase in his 4-part reopening plan, the Safe Start program. He hit the pause button on that for at least 2 weeks. So we'll see what happens. I know the numbers have been climbing pretty rapidly the last week or so. So hopefully we'll be able to work together as a community and stop that from happening, turn those numbers around. Here is the state map of the county reopenings. So you can see King County is in phase 2, where we will remain for a while. So, and we have another week of wow for interest rates. Long-term mortgages hit another all-time low again. So last week we hit an all-time low, and then this week we're hitting an all-time low. It's these rates are obviously never been seen before if it's an all-time low. So it's a great time to refinance, or if you're thinking about buying a home in the future, now would be a really great time to talk to a lender because you might realize it's a little closer than you might think. And Seattle area home prices unscathed by coronavirus pandemic. This is an article that came out in Seattle Times 3 days ago. But as you can see, they used stats from April, and it's now, and this was the last day of June that they posted this. So this is kind of old data, but I thought I'd address it since Seattle Times posted it. So I often hear about articles that are posted in Seattle Times shortly after they're posted. But if you look at these, when these numbers came from, April was a really long time ago as far as stats go. So just be aware, keep in mind that whenever you see anything related to real estate statistics posted in a newspaper, it's probably at least 1 month behind. So yeah, just keep that in mind, which is why I'm doing my weekly real estate show here, because I think it's valuable to stay up to date week to week. But however, that article, although it's a little dated, it did have this graph in it, and it's since it goes back to 2015, it's an overtime graph, but you can see how fast the Seattle area is increasing in home values compared to the rest of the nation. On a national average, we are like way ahead on percentage of home value increase. So that probably can't go on forever, but right now, home values have gained a lot in the Seattle area compared to nationwide. And some interesting stats this week. You can see the residential and condo numbers broken up here, but I'm just going to jump right into the combined. And we had 662 new listings come on the market in King County in the last 7 days. This is kind of a drop from where we were before. And you can see the sold popped up over 1,000. So that's kind of a jump from where we were before. So if we plot that on the graph, we can see our new listings and listings sold lines cross. So the listings sold, these homes are homes that are closing. They probably on average went pending 30 or so days ago. So they went pending last month and now they're sold this month. So we're looking at showing data and stuff from a month ago when we're looking at these solds. That's the data that's feeding into this. But you can see that we had a huge jump on our listings sold and a huge drop in our new listings. So this is, I mean, I just sound like a broken record on when I'm talking about this, but we are so short on listings and you can see it is only getting worse. There's not that many homes on the market for buyers to choose from right now. So if you're a seller, that is great news because you don't have a lot of competition and you have a lot of people potentially in the pool for your home. So if you zoom out of our King County into the whole Northwest MLS, so this is basically Western Washington. The dark line is 2020 and the yellow line is 2019. And for new listings coming on the market, excuse me. So new listings coming on the market in this past week in 2020 for the whole MLS did go up. But if you zoom it down into King County, there was fewer homes in King County that came on the market, which means Snohomish and Pierce and other counties had a lot more come on the market relative to King County. And then this is the pending listings. So again, dark line is 2020. And we have more pending listings right now than we did this time last year, which is pretty crazy considering the the amount of inventory on the market. It's people are finding things to buy despite the fact that there's not a lot to choose from. So as far as showing activity, this is for North America, and you can see that it's kind of staying a little bit flat. Excuse me. So the orange line is this year. I know it flipped from the last graph. So the orange line is this year, and we are ahead of where we were last year on showings. Again, this is probably due to the lack of open houses partially, but it just shows that we do have a lot of buyers in the market that are out there hunting for a home. And if you take that was national. And so if you bring that back to the Northwest MLS, so Western Washington, you can see that the next slide will have the actual numbers, but we're kind of staying fairly close to where we were last week. And it's just a bit of a different line than last year. But if you look at this, it says we went up 12.44% from last week on showings. So you can see that buyer activity is starting to ramp up. And just talking about the unemployment situation in Washington, as far as layoffs, I was really surprised to see this number go up again. Last year, last week, it went up like 12% or something, I think. But this week, it was 26% as far as the number of layoffs in Washington state. So it was just very surprising to see. Did I miss it? Oh, okay, I guess that's next. But you can see that we're just over the center line here. But we're doing not as bad as some states on our layoffs, but could be better. I was pretty surprised to see it increase by this much. So fingers crossed. Stay healthy, everyone. Have a very safe and happy 4th of July. Yeah, stay safe, wear your mask. It's common courtesy. We gotta look out for one another at this point. And if we're gonna make the coronavirus go away, we gotta work together to do it. But tune in next week. I'll be doing this again weekly. If you're watching this later on YouTube, like and subscribe. If you're watching it on Facebook with me right now, make sure to hit the little bell that'll alert you when I go live. I'm going to do these weekly, but I do go live throughout the week at other points, and whenever I have valuable information to share. All right, well, thank you so much. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, DM, call, text, whatever is easiest. And I look forward to seeing you here again next week on This Week in Housing. All right, see you then. Thanks for joining me.